marketing departments facilitating the involvement of procurement, but also they need to recognise the benefits that procurement can bring to them if they can actually get them involved. Procurement people aren't there to say no. Procurement people are there to make sure that the organisation is getting the best value for the spend, working with the best suppliers, delivering the best outcomes that actually push the business forward. It's a central, crucial role within the overall strategy of an organisation. But if they don't have the information, all they can work to is budgets and some kind of fluffy criteria around the outside of it. But if they could actually, surely marketing departments would actually like it if procurement were more able to get involved and could actually help them drill down into the value, because ultimately they're being driven towards objectives as well. So if everyone's able to get more visibility on actual outputs, outcomes, value, then that will enable that organization to continue working with their best suppliers, maybe even increase the work they're doing with their best suppliers, rather than just saying, oh guys, we've got to have a budget cut because things are tough. If you can actually say, well, this agency are delivering massive returns on value, and we asked them to do this, they did a really great job of it, and it's delivering these results. That's something that procurement can fight the case and say, well, actually, we should be spending more money on that because the objective is to drive returns. And that's certainly something that's going to appeal to the CFO, the CEO, or the CPO, however that kind of filters through.
I think that's really interesting. So one of the, we sort of position marketing and procurement and agency as a sort of, as 3 points of, on the triangle, if you like. But actually, when you start looking at the incentives between them, I think there's huge alignment between the marketing department and the agencies. So again, if you follow the agency press, there's a lot of talk, certainly at the moment, but there has been for a long time about, the value of creativity in all its forms, and the opportunity for agencies to regain their seat at the top table and to be the trusted advisor of the C-suite and all that kind of I suppose rhetoric, which I suppose implicitly points at a concern that they've kind of lost that over the last 30, 40 years, and that management consultancies have kind of come from nowhere and are able to command a much higher premium and provide much higher level advice, which I think broadly is undoubtedly true. So how do agencies get the ear of the chief exec is a thing. And I think at the same time, marketing has been sort of trying to sort of fight its corner for a long while along a similar sort of lines, in as much as, they want to be perceived as fluffy. They want to be perceived as, the colouring in department, and all of these unhelpful cliches, which you hear.
I've never heard that one before, which is why it made me chuckle. But yeah, it's unfair at the very least.
But again, if you look at the sort of rise of digital media over the last 20 years, you could argue that the sort of marketing agenda has sort of swung back sort of too far the other way, that it's now almost supernumerate, and that the investment in brand has perhaps been diminished, and an appreciation of brand within client organizations is perhaps not what it was. I think there's certainly a risk aversion now with sort of mid-level marketeers, where they're so they've sort of been brought up with the accountability or presumed accountability of digital media. If you start getting into the efficacy of programmatic spend and how much your ads have actually been seen by the right people, but the perception of accountability by being able to spend this and getting that, as I say, perhaps it's gone too far the other way. But sort of putting that to one side, the idea that marketing hasn't got the credibility within the boardroom that it should do, and agencies facing the same challenge, there's a big overlap there in their agenda. And you could argue that procurement effectively is the key to the door for both of them.